Well, hello, Void friends and Void folk. Welcome back to my self-published with me series that I have not updated in a year because we're gonna get into it in this video, but before I get into the reason that I'm back after a full year of being gone, basically, I'm gonna record basically 3 videos at once for the next couple of weeks, and we're all gonna pretend like I filmed them at different times, even though I have the hats that I'm gonna be changing out right there. So you didn't see that, yeah. Anyway, here we are back with an update for where I've been for the last year. So last year in January, I basically started this series for Self-Published with Me because I wanted to go through the entire process of basically editing my book and formatting the book and getting the designer and setting up my business account and all of the different steps that it was going to take in order to self-publish. Now, what ended up happening was around February, I was doing really well. I was actually doing really well. And then I kind of got, not really decision paralysis, but more I realized that I needed to do my business stuff. And a lot of that is very confidential stuff. So I was like, no, I don't really want to record this. So I didn't. And that was kind of that was 2 months worth of progress because I had to do all the research for it. And I had to do all of the planning and calls, and I made a lot of phone calls, and I made a lot of different things, and I had to do a lot of stuff. And I am thinking I'm still going to go through an entire video of all of the research I did do and all the people that I ended up talking to and a lot of other things. But what that basically means is I didn't have content for 2 months. And I was going to, originally my plan was, I knew that it was going to be a lot of confidential stuff, but my original plan was also during that time to film about my company I was doing and all the different pen names I was going to have and a little bit about the book. None of that happened. Unsurprisingly, none of that happened. Wow. So I guess the best way to put it is I just didn't know what to do. So I didn't know what to do. And I thought, okay, so the next big thing that I'm going to do is editing. I can do a video on editing. And so I sent my editorial letter, well, my book to an editor that I did information on and I paid for. And I'm actually not, well, I have thoughts about the entire process. And the process was, I guess, it was what I expected, but also not what I expected. And I feel like I'm going to get into that maybe more in a different video. I actually might be recording 4 videos today instead of just 3. But, yeah. So I went through all of the editorial process and I thought to myself, okay, well, there's a lot more work than I thought I was going to need. Spoiler alert. Great. And I just really put everything into making that happen. And then on top of work and everything like that, I just couldn't really focus on making videos. And when you can't really focus on making videos, you're kind of in this place where, okay, so what do? I was going to plan on doing all these videos so I could market, so I could get people up and excited and have people out here really excited for the book now that we're 2 months out from when I'm planning on publishing it. And it didn't happen. And I guess that's just a way to say things don't happen the way that you expect them to. Things don't always go the way that you want them to. But that editorial journey really changed me, the book, everything about it. And then we got to January of this year and edits were still not done. I had the book cover, but I really didn't book cover designer was working on it. Really didn't have everything for him. I didn't have the interior design done. I do now. I didn't have pretty much anything I thought I was going to do coming into February. And the last 4 weeks, basically since the beginning of February, last week of January and the beginning of February to now, which is the first weekend of March, I have done all of the edits up to my standard. So proofreads need to be done. I have done the interior design up to where it's basically layout up to a certain point. There's still things that need to be done, but that's okay. They can be done. Cover design is done. And now that means all of my accounts are set up across like Barnes and Noble and Amazon and all of that stuff, which we'll get into. I still haven't set up the book yet, but that's okay because I think I'm going to do that in another video where I'm setting all of this up because I think that that's going to be a good video to like show. But that's 4. And that means that now all that's left is to market. And I can't start marketing if I don't come back to YouTube and I don't catch you guys up. So 4 videos. Said 3, we're going to do 4. They're going to come out the next couple of weeks. 1 a week, hopefully leading up to the release, which is going to be April 29th. Why did I pick a random Tuesday? Because books traditionally come out on Tuesdays. It's just the day that they usually come out. But I just like the day for a couple of reasons. And we're going to get into that because today's video is going to be about the launch, which is not finalized completely. Well, the launch is finalized, but I don't have everything up on it yet. And legal stuff that I did for the business. So first things first, let's talk about, because legal is going to be a lot longer of a conversation. Let's talk about the release date. I think I'm going to go into a deeper video of this as we get a little bit further about the importance of this book to me. But April 29th is a Tuesday. Wow. And it is the last Tuesday before I turn 30. And you may be like, why does it matter that you're turning 30? It does. Because I always said to myself when I was young, which we'll get into again in another video, that I was going to write a book before I turned 27. And now I'm not 27. I'm turning 30. I was gonna have, my original dream was to have all these books out and be super famous and have all these really cool things. And that's just not what happened. But I am going to have a book out before I'm 30 while I'm still 29. And COVID basically, for everyone, you kind of lost 2 years, right? And I kind of think of it as if I didn't lose those 2 years, in theory, I could have had a book out by the time before I was 28. So I want a book out before I'm 30. Is it extremely selfish of me? Yes. It doesn't make absolutely no real logistical sense. There's no real difference between 29 and 30. There really isn't. But it matters to me. And since it matters to me, I think that that's the only thing that matters. And so I'm getting it out on the Tuesday before I turn 30. Now, why not the Friday? Because I don't turn 30 until the 3rd of May. Well, I wanted to have a cool little party. So, and I don't want to have to be stressed about getting my book out the same day as the party for my 30th birthday, right? So I decided to go with a more traditional approach of going with a Tuesday for a release. Again, this isn't necessarily to say all books come out on a Tuesday. They come out whenever people want. But, Tuesday is like the day for best tracking for numbers and everything like that. Tuesday to Tuesday, right? That's the way for music. It's the way for books. It's the way for pretty much a lot of things. The only difference being like really movies. But so April 29th. And what is coming out April 29th? Well, its name is The Preface of a Worthy Fable. And yes, this is the cover. I'm so excited about it. It was designed by a designer by the name of David Leahy. That is David Leahy. He operates out of the UK. Found him on Readsy. We'll go into more what the book is about later on. It's not what this video is about. This video is about legal. And you may be like, legal what? Fox Fairy Font, my publishing company. So we'll get into all the really cool things about publishing and the book and all that stuff. It's all hyping you up, but Fox Fairy Font is what we got to talk about first. And we got to talk about how hard it was actually to set up a business and how easy it was at the same time. Like, I honestly think that when I went into setting up this business, I thought it was going to be like the hardest thing on the planet. And it was kind of difficult, not from a standpoint of it being hard work, but a lot of work, right? I had to research, because I live in a state where I had to do a lot of research on do I have to apply with the city? Do I have to apply with the county? Do I have to apply with the state, federal stuff? But actually setting up my EIN was very easy after I had set up the business stuff. My state has a business portal that allows you to basically go through all the steps and do everything. And I had to make a couple of phone calls because I was like, hey, I'm a publishing company. I'm self-publishing. That's what I'm doing. And they're like, oh, this is what you do, this is how you fill it out, we think. Because it's not necessarily like the biggest thing, right? And a lot of self-publishers, they publish under their own name. But I decided I wanted to go under a different company, because if I'm going to have different pen names, I want them all under the same company, so you're not just looking at me, right? So, Fox, very fun. I had to register with the state government office. I had to register with my city government office. I had to go through and get the accounts online. And then I needed all of that information when I went into setting up the business accounts for Amazon, Barnes & Noble, Ingram Sparks, Drafted Digital, and also ACX, which I've done all of that for, and I will do a cute little video right here of all of those different accounts, which again, we'll go into the actual setting up of the book later. All right, so today I got the contract back from my editor. In the editing video, you will see this exact same angle. I'm pretty sure this video is coming out before that one. So, because I got the contract back from my editor, I'm going to go forward with the down payment with the editor out of my own bank account, but I need to have the business set up by the end of this month, basically. Like I need to, so that I can have all these other expenses coming out of that. So, we're on crunch time. So I need to do that sort of research today. And hopefully in the next video, you'll see me actually doing it. Good morning. All right, so I'm a little behind on the creation of the LLC, and I don't remember the last video I did on this, but I should have gotten it done in January because I needed to have it set up so I could do my first payment to the editor off of the business bank account. And that's not happening. First payment's going to have to come out of my actual personal account. And then all subsequent payments will come out of that. But that's going to cause like some tax issues in the future and whatever. But I'll have to just deal with that when I get there. Whoops. Another option is to just do all of the payments through my personal account. I don't know. I'll gotta figure that out. And then do everything else subsequently through the business account. But I need to get the business up and running by the end of this month because there's just so much other stuff. Ow, my nose hurts. There's just so much other stuff that needs to get done. And I can't keep pushing it off trying to get this business done. So I need to get the business done by the end of the month. So that I can start covers and interior stuff and creating social media, because that social media stuff is a really important video, but also that needs to be finalized so I can start hopefully making more money through that. So, yeah, business needs to be done in the next 2 weeks. So it's now like crank time, which is fine because I've done a lot of research on this for like the last year. I just procrastinated, and I don't procrastinate on pretty much anything. So like, this is kind of frustrating that I actually procrastinated on this. But, you know, that's how life is. Oh, well. So, I guess that means I gotta make a YouTube video tomorrow. I'm excited because that means I gotta make a YouTube video tomorrow. And for anyone that's like, why don't you just tell us what you did? I am in the YouTube video that I get to respond and record tomorrow. But basically, I just finally, after 2 months, I finalized my business licenses. So my business is now it's going, it's happening. I have the business licenses all paid for. Finally. Oh, this is excellent. I'm so excited. So, like, fun fact about this, I did not, in fact, record a YouTube video. I held this video for the next forever, almost 12 months. Nah, I didn't make a YouTube video, clearly, but I am now. So what I learned in the process of doing all of this is it's very expensive to set up a business, which is saying something considering how much money I spent on editing the book. But like, for a person that isn't going into it with any sort of money and they just want to do, I don't recommend it. It was an investment. Like, I think I could spend the money, but I know there's a lot of other people that really can't do that. And so I don't necessarily recommend it, but I do recommend it in terms of like legal and tax purposes, which is what I'm doing. So I can have the legal like separability as well as like the tax separate nature of it. And I'm setting myself up for a larger future rather than just having everything tied to it right now. But it was expensive. I'm not going to lie. Like $300 is expensive for like a renewal, which I just did for my renewals for my, like all of my different business licenses, which I have like two, state and, city. And then I have my like government one that you just pay for once. But, I had to set up my bank account, which honestly was what set me off for everything else. Once I knew how to do all the other stuff, like it was actually very quick to go through the process and go through the portals and do all the paperwork and give them all the information that they needed and make sure, because it was literally just me. All I got to give them was my social security, and all I had to give them was like my information, where I live and what I'm doing, because there's nobody else in this business. I don't have any employees. But bank account scared me because I had no idea how hard it was going to be. So I'm currently, getting all my documents together to go to the bank today. It is the 13th of February, 2025. And I think the first video I have of this was like from February of 2024. And I made the phone call today to like call in and be like, hey, I want to set up an appointment to do my bank account that I've been putting off because I've been nervous about it because I thought it was going to be too much work. And they're like, you just need to have these 3 documents. And when I go in tomorrow, I have a feeling it's going to be super freaking easy, and I'm going to be having beaten myself up about having wasted so much time because I was so nervous, which I guess is like a indication of like procrastination, but also just like sometimes the things that you think are going to be hard are like the easiest things on the planet. And the things that I thought have been the easiest in this process, oh my gosh. Actually, I think at this point, this video is just going to end up being not just about the finance. It's going to be about the finances and the editing and the entire process as a whole. And I might have to break it down later on, but it's going to be a longer video. And I think I'm recording that this weekend. All right, so I just got back and did my stuff. That was just as easy as I feared it was going to be. I don't know why I was putting that off for so long. Took an hour, but it wasn't an hour that was like long. It was an hour of a lot of questions being answered and a lot of things being done, a lot of new things that I had no idea about. And it was super simple, super easy. And I was like, I told him, I was like, I didn't know that it was going to be this easy. So it was whatever. But yeah, that was really wonderful. And it's going to be good for me going forward. Now I have a business bank account, so everything's good. So it looks like next steps are actually starting my social media campaign, double checking that all my social medias have my logo properly, and website. Making the website. Turns out, and shout out to the manager at the U.S. bank that like literally is right down the street, that's my bank, because I was there for like less than like an hour. Like you have to understand, I went into this meeting still not knowing exactly how it was going to go down. I did hours worth of research trying to make sure I had everything, and then I was like, last couple weeks ago, I was like, I just got to do it. So I called in. I asked them what I needed to bring just as a double checking, set up an appointment. I went in. I didn't need any of it except for my EIN number, and because like they could find everything pretty much else, and like he's awesome. He got it all handled. He explained everything to me. We went through like I got my business account, I got my business credit card, I got my business debit card, I got like everything handled in like less than an hour flat. Felt super secure in the entire process going through it. Was told like, hey, if you want to set up your own like marketplace on your website in the future, we can easily set that up. Shout out to US Bank. And of course I didn't set that up now. I'm planning on maybe doing that in the future if I do decide to sell my books on my like actual like account. But for now I'm just going through the others. But like that was actually, like, it was, and like, I think that like this is like the funniest thing about the whole process, right? When I was doing all the business licensing and stuff and I didn't understand how I was like, what things meant or how to do it. And I went online and like, there were so many answers and so many FAQs and so many things. But like, as a person doing a publishing house, like an independent publishing house, those questions that they're answering aren't necessarily for me, right? Like there's not a specific set. So when I called in and I explained to the people at like the tech center and the people at the like business setup and the people at all these different things, they were just like, hey, we don't know everything, but we're going to try to get the answers for you and we're going to try to do our best. And every step of the way with every single person that I made a phone call with or I had to meet in person or I had to do anything from the starting up the business to setting up the bank account, every single one of them was a gem. And like, I thought I was asking the stupidest questions, but like even some of them were like, yeah, I really actually don't know the answer to that, but I'm going to look it up or I'm going to figure it out. And they really cared. They really they were like, hey, like this is simple. This is something that's easier. And I think that my camera is about to run out of space. So let me pause this. They were all wonderful humans. They were all wonderful people. And it quite frankly, I think really showed me that why are you stopping yourself? What are you actually afraid of? Because something that I've learned in my life, through my friends and my community and my family and everyone around me is that people really want to help you if you are in the place of being helped. And I think that this entire process really showed me that my paralysis of doing the decisions was not because I didn't want to make the decisions, but because I was afraid it was going to be hard or it was going to be like pulling teeth or that people weren't going to want to help me or that, I was going to be asking a lot of stupid questions that no one's going to have answers for or that, it was going to be hard and difficult and tedious and a task that was going to make me want to pull my hair out. And I was so afraid of that I put it off for so long that when I finally did it, I was like, wow. So I think that's my like biggest way of saying like, you don't need to be afraid. And I think that that's going to be like the biggest running theme of these videos going forward is you don't need to be afraid. You don't need to be afraid that no one's going to like your book. You don't need to be afraid that it's not going to go well. You don't need to be afraid that no one's going to want to help you. You might be afraid now. You might be afraid tomorrow. You might be afraid in 2 weeks, but that fear does not need to hinder you. There is so much that you are capable of and so much that is possible for you to be able to do in this world, even if fear is stopping you. You can do it. And quite frankly, chances are that the fear makes it harder than it actually is. So if there's anything about, my welcome back video and the fact that the legal journey and the business journey was actually really, really quite easy for me, is to say that I will see you in my next video. And I hope that you stick around with me because the next couple of videos will actually be a lot more informational because I don't want to go too heavily again into the actual legal part of this because I can't. I did show you what I could, but I do hope that I'll be able to talk to you about more of the process in other videos. For now, that's it for this one. And as always, until next time, this has been Marlena Marie.